Hello everybody, welcome to the Redmen TV. It's the daily news show. Sorry to keep you all waiting there. We had some technical problems in the studio, but we're up and running now for some news. It's quite a slow news day actually, but we've got a few things. Obviously the title there refers to Nabil Fekir. This has been going on all summer. We've got a new story today coming from the Mirror. We're going to jump right into that. Basically the Lyon midfielder has opened up a mid-future amid Liverpool interest of course, but the big story, the big angle on this is that they are linking him now with some of our rivals, including Manchester United and Chelsea. He has refused to move out and move to Liverpool. He's returned now to Lyon for pre-season training. Obviously, he was part of that France World Cup winning squad, but he's been a target for a long time, as we all know. The move collapsed in June, and there hasn't really been any concrete interest since then. Since he failed that medical with the injury issue that we all knew about. But his most recent quote that the Mirror plucked out from an interview here, he said, "As you can see, I'm in Lyon. I'm very good here, but the transfer window is still long and everything goes very fast in football." So obviously we haven't got long in England until the transfer window shuts. That shuts on Thursday, 48 hours to go. I feel like if we were going to sign him, there'd be a few more concrete things being said by more well-known journalists, you know, your James Pearce, your Mel Reddies, but none of them are saying anything about it. So I'm not convinced that anything is going to happen before Thursday. Personally, I don't know anything. He's also said, "We do not know what will happen in the future, but I'm very good at Lyon. I'm in a great group, a good group, very homogeneous." Who knows what that says? And then later on, it does say somewhere about him being linked with Chelsea and Man United. Chelsea and Liverpool are believed to remain interested. Now, he did say a while back that he doesn't really want to play Europa League football, which probably rules Chelsea out of the running. And I'm not sure the Man United link is in this article, but he has been linked with Man United, which seems quite suspicious to me, given that they're pretty much after everybody that everybody else is after. They're absolutely desperate to bring in some talent at the moment, apparently. But we'll get your comments at the end of the show. Keep bringing them in on all the stories that we talk about today. We'll move over to the next story, which is about Simon Mignolet, coming from Belgian media through Sport Witness. Obviously, Liverpool signed Alisson not so long back, and that has put the future of Simon Mignolet into some doubt. It looks like that Karius is going to be staying, and he will be playing as number two to Alisson, which means that Mignolet is probably going to be moved on by the club. Belgian newspaper Het. All the words today that I'm struggling to, all the complicated words coming out today that I'm going to struggle to pronounce, but that Belgian newspaper there has said that the chances of staying at Liverpool for Simon Mignolet now are very small. He's emerged as a transfer target for some clubs in Turkey, but the most recent report have linked him with Italian side Napoli, who were obviously under management Carlo Ancelotti. We played them at the weekend. They've already let Pepe Reina go this summer, and they've brought in a replacement already under Orestis Karnisis, who I believe played at the weekend. But they've only got two goalkeepers, senior goalkeepers in the squad. Most top Premier League and European squads tend to have three in there, which is obviously why they'll be looking to bring in an extra one. Don't know whether Simon Mignolet will be brought in as a starter. I don't know how good these other two lads are. Maybe he'll just be brought in for a bit of competition for them. Who knows? They want to take Mignolet on loan, but the finances involved apparently scare them because Jurgen Klopp's side are demanding a loan fee, and they also want them to pay his wages. So we'll have to wait and see. Let us know in the comments what you think of this one, whether it will materialise. Obviously, we can still sell players after Thursday. We just can't bring any in. So we've got a little bit longer regarding this one, but let us know what you think. Will Napoli manage to get Simon Mignolet before the end of their transfer window, which is at the end of the month, of course. Next up, we've got a report from the Metro. Now, I don't really take a lot of I take a lot of things from the Metro with just a pinch of salt, really. Nothing really concrete from them, but they've been talking about Domagoj Vida, who's obviously a Croatian centre-back, played with Dejan Lovren at the World Cup, and we've been linked with him quite a lot since his performances at the World Cup. Obviously, Croatia runners-up at the World Cup, very good tournament for them, but he's talked up a potential move to the Premier League. Couldn't get a dream to be able to play in the Premier League. He's been linked with us and Arsenal at the same time. Plays for Besiktas at the moment. He's only been there since January, but he's obviously impressed in that league, and he's impressed at the World Cup, and that's drawn interest from ourselves and Arsenal, if you believe everything that you read in the papers. And if you believe everything you read in the papers, apparently we've already lodged a bid for him, but I don't really believe that. But he's talked obviously done a lot of press stuff post-World Cup, and he's told Harbour 1903, I don't know who they are, I'm always dreaming of playing in the Premier League. I do not know if the proposals will come again in this period. I would like Besiktas to make it easy for me. Then obviously we've got a statement here from the Besiktas president, who's sort of responded to those statements from Vida and said a player who wants to leave brings no benefits to the club. You must look at the interests of the club, which does suggest that they would be willing to make him to let him go if the right offer came in. Again, though, 24 hours to go, 48 hours to go. Sorry, until the window shuts. 2 days. There's nothing concrete enough for me to suggest that we will be bringing this fella in. You've got, Jurgen Klopp's even said that he's quite happy with the squad as it is. He doesn't want to bring in any more. I feel like, like I said before, some of the more concrete journalists that we are reliant on would have said something by now. But then again, we've made a habit recently of just springing deals on out of the blue, and the Fabinho and Van Dijk were all done within a matter of hours from our perspective. So maybe on Thursday we might be in for a couple of surprises. But just an interesting one that he does definitely want to come to the Premier League, whether it be us or Arsenal. Be interesting. I think a lot of people out there still think that we do need another central defender. I'm not sure myself. If Joe Gomez can stay fit, I think he's a good enough backup. I think Joel Matip's going to have his injury problems again this season, but we'll wait and see with that one. And finally, our final story today, which I thought was possibly the most realistic headline I've ever read in my time following football. A study has been done at the University of Bath based on last season to determine that Liverpool were last season's unluckiest Premier League team and Manchester United were the luckiest, which I thought was so... Is anybody surprised by this? Is anybody surprised by this? Because I'm certainly not. It's interesting the sort of criteria that they've gone through. Take it with a pinch of salt. Look, football is all about luck. You need a little bit of luck to win the title. Manchester City, as we're going to see, have had a little bit of luck last season. Not that it made that much of a difference for them. But as you can see here, the people at the University of Bath who have spent a lot of time clearly conducting this study have put together this luck index, so-called. They put together goals that should have been disallowed, incorrectly disallowed goal, incorrectly rewarded penalties, yada, yada, yada. You can see here, and using that they've decided to come up with an alternative table to the one that actually was the finishing table last season. And as you can see, we finished second in this imaginary table and 12 points ahead of Manchester United, who were last season's luckiest side. Interesting because, like I said before, luck is a big part of football, but if everything had gone our way, we've only finished 10 points behind Manchester City there, and suddenly that's less of a real dawning gap between us. Take it with a pinch of salt. It's not the be all and end all, but it's perhaps a little bit encouraging. Maybe if we get a few more decisions last season. Obviously, the most notorious one that we discussed, particularly on this show and on Twitter last season, was the fact that Liverpool got no penalties in the Premier League at home last season at all. And there were definitely a few stone cold. Stonewall penalties that we had turned down. In fact, one of the ones that are discussed here is at the top of this page. In Liverpool's 0-0 draw with Manchester United at Anfield on the 14th of October, the study concluded that we should have had a penalty in the 63rd minute, and therefore the new simulated scoreline was a 1-0 win for us. If we get some decision like that next season, we will win a few more points. And there may be a tighter gap between us and Man City next season. But, like I said, just a bit of fun, really, that sort of article. Interesting to see these alternative tables that come out. Always happen at this time of the year prior to the season. Alternative Premier League tables, predicted Premier League tables, yada, yada, yada. So we'll now go to your comments on all of these stories that we've discussed. I believe we've got a super chat, Simon.
Yeah, so I'm not quite sure what he means, to be honest.
Okay.
He said if we sign Fekir, we would be banned from playing.
Will we? Why? I think he's quite a good player. I don't think we'll be banned.
I think if you can let us know in the comments
what
you mean. But thanks for the super chat anyway.
Have you got any more?
So Sidney Fisher says the good thing is everyone can all shut up about Fekir in 2 to 3 days.
Yes, that's a funny thing, because I've been chatting about that with Ross upstairs, and I know him for one. He's just desperate to shut. Whether it happens or not, we can all just stop talking about it. It was a bit like Coutinho last season. Obviously, it'll all ramp up again in December time ahead of the January window. But it's one of them things.
So Anish G, when he saw it was you on the show, he said, "Oh, it's the youth expert. Which under-23 do you think is going to break through to the first 11 this year?
It's going to be Curtis Jones. I'm telling you right here, right now. He's had a fantastic season last season for Steven Gerrard under Neil Critchley in the UEFA Youth League. He's obviously he went with the squad to Kiev, and now he's had a fantastic pre-season. It's weird because I've been following last season, and obviously I follow the youth sides like a lot more than most. I go to a lot of the games, and I'm now kind of feeling a sense of pride because I know how good he was, and now everybody else is beginning to realise just how good he is. He's going to come in. I think he's going to get a fair bit of game time this season. Hopefully we stay in the domestic cups a bit longer, fingers crossed, and he'll get his game time there. That's where I think he's going to get his minutes on the pitch, yeah.
So Oolong has replied to that last one. He says, I think he means we'd be so good we should be banned from playing.
Oh, fair enough, yeah. Why not? Well, we've already got Shaqiri, who's proven to be a very good addition, obviously, in that midfield three if he plays there. Be interested to see what team he plays tonight. I think he will play Shaqiri tonight in the midfield three, and we're just going to see how good he is. 13 million, and then if you add another Fekir on top of that, Jesus Christ, yeah, we will be winning everything. Go on.
Copy27 says, Ben, do you think Alisson will get the number 1 jersey? Do you think the rumours are true?
Yeah, I think he might, to be honest. I don't take a lot of interest in player jerseys. The most important thing for me is that he's definitely one of ours and he's going to be playing this season. I think the Liverpool Echo put out a story today basically making up a big deal of the fact that Loris Karius had taken away the hashtag LK1 from one of his Instagram posts, which I thought was the biggest load of clickbait nonsense I've ever heard in my life. But yeah, I think if you pay that much for a goalkeeper, and he comes in on the wages that he is, and he probably knows Alisson that he is a little bit of a saviour, and we were desperate to get him in. If he's going to demand the number 1 shirt, I'm not too bothered about that. Give it to him. Karius has had his opportunities. I wish him well with his career and whatever he does, whether it be at this club or whether we move him on. But for me now, he's got to step aside and let the big money signing come in and do his job.
Jonathan Muchikeu says Rafa Camacho has looked amazing, brilliant pace and fair bit of trickery. What are the odds he can be our backup on the wings?
I think he's got every chance. I think the fact that we've kept him is a big sign for him that he will be used this season. Look at Harry Wilson. I was convinced that Harry Wilson was going to be part of our squad this season after just how good he was for the under-23s last season in the first half, and then he had a great spell at Hull for the second half of the season. He's now going playing under Frank Lampard, which I'm not convinced is the best move for him just because of how inexperienced as a manager Frank Lampard is, but it'll be interesting to see how he develops there. I think the fact that we've kept Rafa Camacho is a really good sign for him. He'll be in and out. He'll be on the fringes this season. Maybe if it doesn't work out for him, we'll be looking to loan him out in January. But when he's not in the first team, he'll always be playing in the under-23s and the under-18s. So he'll be getting constant football anyway and always learning from the players around him at that level. So maybe we'll see him as a backup this season. Yeah.
Bilbo Baggins says, who is our most important player?
Who is our most important player? It depends in what sense, because for me, instinctively, I say Firmino, because I think, we've only got one Firmino, if you know what I mean. We've got backup strikers, but only one that is like Firmino with the game intelligence he has and, the link-up play that he's got with his two wingers. But I think you could also make a case for Alisson, just because he's going to win us, or rather not lose any points, you'd hope, this season. He's a significant improvement over Loris Karius, and I think a lot of pundits and a lot of fans of rival clubs will agree, if they've all got the sensible hats on, if you like, that he was the missing piece of the jigsaw that we've now brought in. And, if you look at the spine that we've now got of Alisson, Van Dijk, Fabinho, Keita, Firmino, Alisson was the final piece in that spine jigsaw, and I think he will win us a lot of points this season. He will be very important for us.
So the Turkey Fish said earlier on, he said, if Chelsea really want Fekir, it might show how much we still want him. He's a great player, but with no other number 10s linked, it's hard to think we still don't have any interest. We might come back in.
Maybe, but like I said, I'm not sure whether now he's seen a bit of Curtis Jones, he's seen a bit of Xherdan Shaqiri, and he's thought, you know what, rather than spending 50 million on a fella with dodgy knees, I think I can get quite a lot out of these two players who can also play in these in these number 8 positions. Don't forget, and I know a lot of people might slaughter me for this, but Adam Lallana will be in and out this season. You're never going to get 20 games a season out of Adam Lallana, but you might get 10, 15, and he'd come in and do a job, plug a gap here and there. He can play on the wing as well. So I think that unless he's absolutely certain that Fekir can come in and be, come in and play consistently, I'm not sure we're going to go for him. I don't see why we'd go for somebody who I thought we were for a long time, but now thinking about it, he's failed a medical. Why would we go back in for him? I just don't get the logic myself. One more side.
I agree with you there, Ben. So Brendan Adams says, how far do you think we can go in the Champions League this year?
How far do I think we can go in the Champions League? How far do I think we can go? I think we can win it, because why not? We got to the final last season and we strengthened. How far do I think we should go? I think to call it a successful season in that competition, it needs to be at least the quarterfinals, if not the semi-finals. Again, it's the same as last season. Any team over 2 legs, I think we can beat. We've proven that against Man City this season. That was the biggest team that we beat in Europe this season. To do that over 2 legs, the way they went and won the league, to blow them away in the first leg and then to control the second leg like we did, I thought we did an excellent job. So for me, for a successful season, we need to be making the quarterfinals at least, if not the semi-finals. How far can we go? Oh, we can be in that final in Madrid, baby, yeah, absolutely sure. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. We're going to call it time there. Again, subscribe to the channel, like the video. Let us know in the comments how I did. This was very, very nerve-wracking for me. Thank you very much for sticking with us at the beginning as well with the technical problems. That's everything. Goodbye.